Good morning. It is Friday, my dudes. Dude, who remembers that meme? So long ago. R.I.P. Vine, by the way. Let me see if I have enough coffee in me or caffeine in my brain right now to even handle talking about anything. Hey, welcome to this podcast. My name's Rabbit, and I'm your host for Shower Thoughts on a Motorcycle. Little podcast I just cooked up recently. Literally thought about it in the shower, so name appropriate. Today, I just wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to me because I feel like a lot of people could benefit from this. And the world's getting stupid. So, let me know how you feel about that comment. Full stop in the comments below. See, dude, my brain's already turning off. Anyway. Dude, what's it being a lifelong learner? What does that mean? And now, like, half the audience already left because nobody gives a shit and everybody's going back to watching, 8-second TikToks because that's all their attention span can support. No, dude. So, like, I come from this perspective of, like, I've been through a lot in my life and never have I ever known what I want to do with my life. Like, very concretely. And my partner feels the same way. Like, also does not have any idea what he wants to do with his life. Very, like, strongly. As opposed to some of the kids I went to school with when I grew up, some of the soldiers I was in the army with, like, everybody just has, like a mission. Like, they're like, I'm going to be an astronaut and nothing's going to stop me. And then they end up working at, like, Food Lion for the rest of their lives. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Well, like, what went wrong, Nah, joking aside, dude, I think it's impossible to know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life, like, at any age, basically, dude. You kind of just wing it till you get there. So if you're on that track, like, dude, you're not doing it wrong, okay? Just so you know. Like, I'm pretty successful in my life. That's not a weird flex, but okay. But, like, it's just the truth. Like, I'm doing it far better than I would expect I would be with where I'm at. But I think it's entirely due to, like, throughout my life, I've just learned all the things that I don't want to do, And I think that's really what it boils down to is, first of all, you don't even have to know that you're learning. And it's something I found out recently from a class I'm in North Carolina State University right now, like, education flex, I know. But They give you this free course over the summer that I highly recommend anybody who's at NC State right now listening does. It's called SIP 116 or something like that, like solving interdisciplinary problems. That's so hard to pronounce. And within that, they basically just said, like, hey, there's implicit and explicit learning. Explicit learning is like you open a book, you read the pages, the knowledge somehow through osmosis travels into your brain and gets stuck there when your synapses connect or some shit, But there's also implicit learning, like, you do something and you're like, this is shit. I don't ever want to do this again. It's like being in the army. Like, you get sent to the field or something and you're sleeping on an anthill and of course there's going to be spiders that are trying to eat the ants. So now you wake up covered in spiders and ants and they're just having a war on your body and it's just the worst thing ever that you could imagine. And then on top of that, you get up in the morning to shave at the water buffalo that's full of rusty water, and now you're getting rained on. So, at least your shaving cream's like washing off with the rain in the end, so you have to put less effort in. But everything just sucks, right? Like anyway. So, yeah, I just wanted to go, like, through my life real quick and, like, just examples of knowing what you don't want to do, right? So I went to high school and I was really into, like, robotics and technology and computers, and it's really odd that I just kind of fell into that because somebody looked at me. I think it was like one of the teachers or something was like, hey, dude, like, you have a real aptitude for tech. Maybe it was in a photography class. And then because teachers are massively underpaid and they're teaching like 5 classes at once, the dude was also an engineering teacher. I was like, hey, dude, why don't you take some engineering courses? Like, go talk to the counselors and get sent over to the engineering side of the place. And I was like, yeah, sure. Sounds cool, I guess. What do you do? And he was like, build robots. And I was like, sign me the fuck up because that sounds sick. So, yeah. But on the other hand, mechanical engineering involves, like, tensile stress testing. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's taking one of those hydraulic presses you could watch on YouTube shorts, and instead of pressing something, it pulls it apart, and you're just like measuring data points on when the thing actually breaks or how much it distorts. That shit is boring as fucking hell, dude. Like, nobody wants to sit there and watch that, in all honesty. Like, maybe some one in every 10 billion people wants to do that, but there's not even 10 billion people on the planet, probably. Anyway, I just like 3D printing shit, Like, there's, I don't know, a coaster or something for my cup of coffee that heats up the cup of coffee. Like, stuff like that. Engineering's fun. But on the other hand, you learn all this shit that you don't want to do is what I'm getting at. I'm kind of rambling. And then in the Army, it was like basic training, everybody hates it. It sucks. Oh, well, get over it. It's part of being a soldier is going through this shit. But, the deeper thing between that is like I was on a 12-mile ruck march and there's all these people like falling out, which means that, they are too tired to keep participating. So they get to sit in a van and drive the rest of the way, or people get injured, which I understand, but the way the drill sergeant played it out was like, hey, everybody that falls out, you get to carry their weapon in their pack. So I ended up with like, well, as a human being, you can pretty much only carry like 2 packs realistically, right? So I had somebody's pack that had fallen out, like a known person who was like just about to get kicked out anyway. I don't know why they were doing this to me, but I had like 4 M16s. They weigh like 8.5 pounds apiece. And then 2 M249 saw machine guns, which weigh seemingly 20 pounds apiece. I just remember walking the rest of this, like the last 5 miles of this 12-mile ruck march, looking like one of those characters from, oh God, what's that new game called? It's like just a pack mule, dude, right? And I was like, this sucks, bro. If this is the rest of my career, like, what the fuck did I do wrong, But then I remembered, nah, dude, I'm going to get promoted and never have to do this garbage again, so that's fine. But yeah, dude, I was just like, the Army's not it. The Army's not it. You got to walk. We have trucks, And then they're like, yeah, if the trucks break down, you got to walk. Okay, that makes sense. I don't want to do this anymore. This is ass, So, and then you got to get out and you got to do all the fucking paperwork with the VA and all of this bullshit, and it sounds like I'm really complaining, but I feel like you shouldn't ever focus on the negatives in your life because you get nowhere. But, looking back in hindsight on the negatives in your life is a really good teaching tool of like, hey, this is part of the things I never want to experience again. So let me steer the opposite way, if that makes sense. That's basically what this whole initial portion is about. So, through the experience, though, you pick up all these things that you don't like to do, but you also pick up things that you do like to do. And like, I love teaching other people about stuff that I know, right? It's why I'm making this podcast right now. It's why I'm so huge in the motorcycle scene and help out a lot of beginner riders because I want to share that with people. Getting into motorcycles was one of the most life-changing events for me, period, right? But a lot of folks are just, like recently we were on this parking lot and there's this girl who just bought an F4i. And for those of you that don't know, that's the precursor to the CBR 600 RR. It's like a serious racing motorcycle, like the early 2000s. Like that's what was raced in, Superbike series or whatever. Long story short, one of the salespeople at the local dealership sold her this thing, and she was just terrified, dude. It's her first bike. Is this 100 horsepower, no rider aid, 600cc starter bike, Lamau. And I do believe people can start on 600s if they come with rider aids and whatnot. Anyway, I digress, right? So I was out there in the parking lot, and I was teaching her like basic clutch control and brakes and stuff like that, like the stuff they teach you in the MSF course, because nobody had told this girl that she needed to take an MSF course before even swinging a leg over a bike, like didn't have a license or anything like that. And lo and behold, I come to find out because like I'm from Germany. Everybody is just into rules over there, right? Like you don't smile most of the time because that's a sign of being an idiot. You just sit on the train quietly. You behave, like a normal human being. Unlike over here in the States where you just basically do whatever the hell you want at any point in time, and get away with most of it because you're covered by the Constitution or whatever. But long story short, I'm out here like, this cannot be, Turns out that's most people. Most people in the States just buy like a liter bike right off the rip because they can, you know, and then go and some are even cheap, which is crazy, right? Like that F4i she bought for $5,000, but the sticker on it was 3,600 or something. I think she got a maintenance package with it. Long story short, dude, like I just am mind blown that no one would go out and like help her and practice her. That's why I think you should also share this knowledge with others. You know, that's one of the things I learned in the military that I really love doing is like helping out soldiers who are just clueless. Like most of them come from the streets. They don't, you know, the military was their last option before jail. Like it was, I felt like for me, and you don't know shit. You know, you don't know fucking anything. The drill sergeants had to teach some of the kids in my basic training how to shave. It was crazy. Like I knew how to do that because I just figured some things out naturally myself. But another thing I learned is just I love solving problems, man. You know, like if there's something wrong, finding a way to make it right is one of the most rewarding things on earth. So, you know, this crazy monologue aside, like going through life, you just learn the things you don't like to do, steer away from those towards the things you do like to do, but you have to see this in retrospect, like really sit down. And I recently learned that's called metacognition as well. That sounds a little too sciencey and wild for me, and I don't like psychology that much. But, you know, if you really sit down and think about things, it's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to run out of brain energy already. No, but what I want to bring across to you is part of life is learning. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can say, I hate school, I hate college, I don't ever want to go, or I hate, you know, XYZ. Dude, if you don't learn anything in life, like even if you go out of high school and you say, I never want to do school again, and you go straight into a job at McDonald's, guess what the first like 3 weeks of your life is going to be? It's learning how to flip burgers. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well just embrace it and learn new things. And when you do, and when your synapses connect, dude, it's like Neanderthals discovering fire, right? It's like, holy shit, now I have a new skill, and, you know, I can use it. That you can extend out to pretty much anything, right? Because if you think about it, like, especially in terms of math, which a lot of people hate, calculus is super scary, right? You hear the word calculus, you're like, oh my God, this person is a rocket scientist, they're a genius, or whatever. You know, maybe I'm just the one who thought that initially, right, before I took the calculus series. And then you just learn it's like rearranging shit left and right of an equal sign, you know? It's like as long as you don't break the rules of algebra, you're totally fine, right? Like it's not that difficult. And I don't want to sound like I'm super smart, dude. I'm like one step removed from a Neanderthal as well, you know, like just a smidgen above ordinary intelligence. But, you know, I've figured it out. And if you think about it even more, like people used to be way more stupid than they are now without smartphones and connection to the internet, because these days you can learn anything on YouTube or through, you know, Google or whatever, research. You just got to know how to research. Some Greeks in like the 1400s cooked this shit up, you know? They were like the original guys that made the recipe for calculus, you know? Like somebody dumber than you figured this out, you know? Well, within reason, you know? Some of these people are just like once every 1,000 years type of folks that just have like, you know, 6 Nobel Peace Prizes or something for what they've done. But in the 1400s, they didn't have organic chemistry teacher to or organic chemistry tutor to explain this shit to you, you know, or like three blue, one brown or something, you know. That's just a bunch of like math and science YouTubers. If you ever need help in calc, just check those guys out. They're awesome, you know. So I think what it really boils down to is if you're unhappy and you have the opinion that you can't do something, all you have to do is learn how to do things. Learn how to do things. I know that's like a double thing, and that blows most people's minds. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, I know how to learn. Like, you probably don't, okay? You probably don't know how to just pick things up from the blue. Like, you can't just pick up a guitar and start shredding, you know, some Van Halen or whatever, you know? You can't just walk into Guitar Center and play Stairway, you know? Like, you got to learn how to do that first. So, but once you figure out, like, once your synapses connect in a fashion where you can learn things relatively okay, like, dude, you're unstoppable. Like, most of what my friends in life are struggling with right now are finances because the economy is just absolutely in the shit, like, or trying to be successful with a new career or something or finding a job. Dude, as soon as you hack how to do job interviews, like, you'll land every job. As soon as you figure out how to be charismatic, you can talk to any person you want, you know? And as soon as you know how to ask for things, you'll probably have everything you'll ever need in life, you know? And that comes like, you can go on and on. Like, if you're broke and you figure out how to do finances, you'll be wealthy enough, right? I don't think there's enough time for like you to be a multi-billionaire in life. Maybe if you're really smart and figure out statistics and can, predict the next Doge or, GameStop or something and just time it right, which I don't believe in that at all. But just figuring out things on a base level will put you leagues above people, or like far and beyond, further in the progress of people's lives than you are without learning how to do things. And there's only those like base things you have to do in life that you really gotta, like, I love learning about motorcycles. I love learning new skateboard tricks. One of the things that I don't love is like having to figure out taxes because they're boring. It's not an entertaining thing, but it's something that's part of life that you can just learn off the internet these days, and then you don't have to pay somebody $200 to do it for you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tax Lawyer. I'm not sponsored by them, but that's what I used 2023 to do my taxes, and they're freaking sick. Like, it was just like, plug the numbers in. Dude, we did it for you. Easy clap. Here's your return, and I don't make any taxable income, so I didn't get any money back, but it's something that I figured out just off watching like 2 YouTube videos and reading the tutorial on the IRS website. So it's not that freaking hard, right? And then it's just what it all boils down to, because we're going on like past 15 minutes now, is like, just be open to new ideas. If somebody gives you an opportunity, chances are they want to share with you what they've learned. So if it's within your power to say yes, do so every time. If somebody's like, hey, let's try fentanyl or something, obviously say no to that. Have some sense in your brain. But if somebody's like, hey, listen, I recently figured out that, Art of Rally is a fun racing game, you should play it. Chances are you should play it. Or if your friends invite you to, recently on the Fayetteville, like LGBT writers group or whatever, there was a post about, hey, do you guys want to come out to MB Drift event for Summer Matsuri in, it's like Richmond, North Carolina or something like that. It's this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. So if you guys want to come and you're listening to this on time, maybe show up. It'll be awesome. It's like a drift event. It's free as far as I can tell. So maybe there's some ticketing at the door. But anyway, long story short, if people invite you, just go. If folks tell you to learn something, just try your best to attempt it at least once. And that goes with anything like food. Somebody's like, hey, try poke. You're like, what the hell is poke? Turns out it's like the most delicious Hawaiian concoction I've ever had in my life, period. And now I'm totally in love because I already love raw fish, and which is something not for everybody too, but I've tried that, historically. So I'm like, oh, it can't be bad. So I learned that the synapse connected in my brain to be like, this is not horrible for you, and it tastes really good. You should do it again. And then you just build this rapport with things and friends, and your life just moves forward. So if you're on the other hand of that, it's called a static mindset. Like, unfortunately, and I don't like bringing this drama up in the public space, but like, my mom's one of those people that just like cannot bring herself to do anything new. Like, everything has to be structured. If the phone gets an update, she's lost, okay? And calling me about it, having a fucking anxiety attack, like, it's just bad. And I'm always just like, hey, listen, like, you got to learn this stuff. Like, when's the last time you, viewer, person listening to this, opened the owner's manual of your car or motorcycle? Probably not even this year, right? Maybe you did, and then you don't even, like, this whole TED Talk doesn't even apply to you. But on the other hand, If you haven't read your owner's manual yet, it's a pretty good read. Like, you'll find out that the thing, and this can be for anything. It doesn't have to be for a car or a bike. It can be for your smartphone or something like that. If you read the tutorial on how to use it, you'll 100%, and I would stake anything on this, you will 100% learn something you didn't know already. Like, there's a new feature or something like that. Anyway, I rambled a lot. I'm out of brain energy. I really appreciate you for listening through this. And I hope you learned something today, because that's the big lesson out of all this thing, is just that you pick up new ideas and form synapses in your brain. It'll make you feel a lot better, you know, and also you become just this skilled god. It's like playing a video game where you unlock the entire perk tree and now you're just unstoppable. In real life, it happens just about the same way. Like, if you can impress people with the knowledge you have, you'll land any job. If you can impress, you know, or if you can do most things, then, you know, you can just do pretty much everything. Like, you become limitless. And I hope you do that. I hope if you disagreed, you let me know in the comments below. Or if you agreed and have anything to add, please let me know in the comments below. Check out some of my other videos. They're probably at the end of the thing or link in the description. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your time. Leave me a like and subscribe for more if you want it. And I'll see you in the next one.